Sometimes we'd accidentally make our own sound effects.
Like what? What would that look like?
I don't know, like, you know, you like do something stupid and like you just like, you say it out loud, like boing, boing, boing. It's like, James, you can't say boing, we're gonna add that in post. And like, right, my bad.
This week, I'm sitting down with big-time Rush star James Maslow on Throwback with Nickelodeon.
I'm your host, Anthony Padilla, and it is a big-time rush to have James Maslow here from Big Time Rush. Did you like
My
that?
pleasure. I liked it. Yeah, it's the first time I've heard that too. Very creative.
James, are you ready to throw back?
I am ecstatic to throw back. Let's go.
Did you grow up wanting to entertain? Was it always something that was just within your blood?
100%. I think that's actually a great way to put it, because I first started singing when I was 6 years old. Didn't know what it meant. I was playing sports. My mom threw me into the San Diego Children's Choir. I actually hated it for the first couple of weeks.
The choir?
Yeah, because it wasn't my thing. Like, I sang in the shower. I was 6 years old. I'm like, oh, this isn't cool. But, you know, there was something about 2 weeks into singing with the San Diego Children's Choir where I went, wait a second, it's actually kind of cool. Like, I'm getting better at this random little thing that I have, skill maybe.
Yeah.
And then fell in love with it and just kept going from there. And then it was the 8th grade, I decided to jump into a performing arts school. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I was majoring in musical theater, so I was acting and singing and dancing, but I did know that I wanted to entertain. So that was the catalyst, and I've been entertaining, hopefully at least a little bit, ever since.
What was your earliest audition memory? Did you start auditioning when you were really young?
Pretty young. I mean, I guess that's cool, technically. 7th grade was my first audition ever, yeah.
Whoa, what was it for? Do you remember?
I have no idea what. I remember I had to have a monologue, I had to sing something.
What's a monologue?
Monologue?
Oh,
that's just me mumbling as I say monologue. A monologue is specific to your mother. Okay. It's a monologue about your mom.
Monologue about your mother,
Could be sad, could be happy.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going down a dark path right now. Let's move on from
A little bit of both, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And what was your audition for Big Time Rush like?
That was nuts.
Because it was for both, it was both acting and singing all at once?
Dancing.
And dancing? How was that?
It was 2 years. I don't know if people realize this. It was 2 years.
You auditioned for 2 years?
Straight up. 4 screen tests. We actually shot an entire pilot with a different actor than Kendall. Another actor playing Kendall's character. Completely different set. And then they recast again. 3rd screen test, and then a 4th screen test. It was nuts. And I thought at some point they weren't going to make the show.
Right, yeah. I would assume that.
At that point, we had cast Kendall. It was all 4 of us, and the chemistry was there. We had awesome actors, awesome singers, decent dancers. Then they pulled the trigger, and it was crazy. Once it started, it went quick.
I mean, that was the beginning of the rest of your career. And did you even know it then?
No. You know, and everybody kept saying, like, yo, your life's gonna change.
Oh, everyone was telling you?
But how are you supposed to understand that? You know, at that time, I was borrowing gas money just to drive up from San Diego to be able to make the audition. And then I'd crash on my godmother's couch and hope there's a call back the next day. And if there wasn't, I'd start driving back. Every time I drove back to San Diego, I'd get a call halfway and be like, hey, we need you back here.
Wait, so
and I'd turn around.
You would turn around
every
halfway?
time. That became my trick, actually. It became, if I want to get a call back, leave Los Angeles. Shout out to my godmom, Laura. Thanks for letting me crash on your couch for a couple years there.
When you booked BTR, though, did you have any idea that your life was just going to change and pivot in a completely different direction?
I remember the moment I got the call.
And what was that like?
So I was driving, I had an old Mustang convertible. It's the first car I bought myself. It was literally from years of saving up in San Diego Children's Choir and San Diego Opera and all these performances. I scraped together enough money to have that car. And at the time, my best friend's Brit was sitting passenger with me. Yeah. And I'm driving down, actually I was in LA, driving down
Were you driving back
Highland.
to San Diego?
I think I was driving back to San Diego. That was the key, bro.
That's where the good news
That
happens.
was the key.
Yeah.
And I'm driving back, I'm going down like Highland, like going to get on the freeway or something.
Yeah.
And I remember getting the call, being like, all right, so we're doing this. And I was like, what? And like it was hard for me to comprehend after 2 years.
Yeah.
I had to pull the car over. Like we're doing what?
Were you like
we're doing
what is happening?
Another screen test?
Right, right.
Like, no, we're gonna do the show. What do you mean by that? Like I remember pulling over and then just freaking out with my boy Britt. It's been like, holy, and just losing our minds. So that was the first time it felt really exciting. First time I felt like, yeah, my life was gonna change.
If you could go back and tell yourself one thing at that time when you got that call, what do you think that would be?
I just think in general, if I could go back and tell myself something that I'm still learning to this day, but I'm getting a lot better about it, is, you know, I'll always be professional. I'll always show up early and know my lines on set. On tour, always be well rehearsed, but you have to enjoy it. And it took me a while because I was so nervous about screwing up. You know what I mean?
So you're treating it more like work because you're like stressed about it?
Of course, man. And it's taken me a long time to realize, like, you'll actually be better as an artist if you really find a way to have fun. It doesn't mean don't care.
Right.
But that it is a fine line.
Enjoy the process.
Yeah. And that's what I'm able to do now. I think at the first couple years of it was just like, I want to make sure everything's perfect. Art's never going to be perfect. Have fun, like goof off a little bit.
Yeah, do you look back at that time and you're like, I missed out by not just enjoying it all, the whole process?
Luckily, it was actually Scott Fellows bringing back the creator of the show that pulled me aside at some point first season and kind of gave me a similar version of that advice too. So I think I was able to figure it out pretty quickly, luckily. But yeah, I mean, I've always been pretty, I don't know, just like especially growing up in performing arts schools and theater. You gotta do 8 shows a week. Yeah. You gotta hit your mark and do, no retake, should I say. Yeah. So growing up, like that was the best training in the world, but.
So you were ready for it.
Was ready for it, yeah. But I've learned to enjoy the process more, should I say. Yeah.
That's good, man. Yeah, you seem happy.
I am.
As a TV band, was it hard to convince critics that you were a real band?
You know, at the beginning, that was a concern for sure.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we were worried, well, people are gonna think we're manufactured because we didn't create the name necessarily, even though we were part of all that.
Yeah, of course.
I think that kind of solved itself over a short period of time because we really did write most of the music.
Yeah, it was actually good music. It wasn't just like, it's good for a TV show.
Well, even the TV show, man, we shot single camera. We were on set Monday for 12 hours till Friday sometimes for 28 hours. Like, we go into Fridays.
Like 60, 70
Nuts,
hours.
Yeah, man, because we're shooting single camera like Entourage, you know? Yeah. Nothing against multicam shows, but this wasn't a multicam show. We were on location in Malibu filming. We were up in Big Bear filming. Like, we put so much work into every little aspect that I think it really showed. And critics appreciated it. Especially when they saw us live, it's very clear that we were singing live. We were dancing live, we were doing it all. So we just made a point to prove ourselves, and I think we did.
You and your character are both named James, right?
Yes.
How much do you think fans were able to differentiate between the character James and you, the real person James?
I mean, most of the fans got it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's first name was the same as their real first name in the show. But, you know, when we're doing like the slapstick comedy and we're goofing around and James Diamond is, you know, like, combing his hair and being vain, like, that was the character. Yeah. The only time it was confusing is when we had really young fans, and then they'd go on tour. I feel like the older fans, when they came to see us as a band, they liked the band more. They're just there to see the band. And so they knew it was us and they were psyched. But sometimes you get like an adorable 6-year-old to come up and go, you know, hi, James Diamond. And when they're that young and that cute, you just go, how are you? You like jump into character, you know? And it's just, man, it was fun.
They're like, how was it fighting crime? And you're like, it was great.
It was so awesome. You know what I mean? It was the coolest thing ever.
I was in an internet comedy duo for like 12 plus years, and I was constantly being compared to my friend, you know? They'd be like, oh, he's this, or, you know, he's funny, he's the funny one, he's the, like, you're just
the handsome one.
Yeah, exactly, and it was constant, you know? And it kind of, I feel like there were many portions of my life where I was really jealous of certain things, and I was like, I have to prove myself or whatever. Did you ever feel that kind of pressure, that constant comparison? Like, he's the hot one, he's the funny one, he's the, like, did they have their labels?
All the time, all the time.
Which one were you? To the fans.
The hot one.
The hot one. I should have known.
No, on the TV show, I was the vain one. So I think people even took a little bit of the characters. Like, you know, Logan hated that he was the nerdy one on the TV show, and in real life, he was like, don't call me nerdy. But you learn to just kind of embrace it, and at the end of the day, who cares?
You're like, I'm the vain one.
Yeah. And then I hated that. I was like, nope, don't really care that much. Like, so I'm like, Logan took 12 minutes just to do one strand of hair. You know, eventually we're just like, we're becoming,
you play into it.
You play into it, and then we almost become each other in that regard. Yeah. And it was just, you know, it was just fun, good fun at that point.
Is there anything about the TV show that most people might not know?
So something people may not realize is in order to play the shows as we were filming, we would we'd have hard outs on Friday. Yeah. Where Sony would go to Nickelodeon and go, yo, if they don't make this flight to the East Coast, like, we're screwed. Like, you have to be there. So we came to this agreement where we'd have a hard out usually at about 10 o'clock to catch 11:30 from LAX. But Paramount's in Hollywood, LAX is an hour away,
in a different state.
So we would have police escorts show up. What? No joke. Our bags would be packed, they'd be in the SUVs, we'd be on set, like 9:45 would come around, they'd like wrap us, take off makeup, run into the cars, like running into the cars. Sirens turn on, motorcycle cops take off, and they'd rush us to the airport.
You're like, yes, I am the president.
It was just nuts because we'd fly, we'd have to sleep on the plane, we'd land, play a show, drive somewhere, play a show, sleep, do one more show the next day, take the last flight back, and then be back on set at 6 a.m. on Monday. And that was our lives for years.
Did you ever get a break?
You know, eventually it did. It started to wear us out a little bit, where we had to
that sounds draining.
Like we had to take Sundays off. Yeah. And we were like, guys, we need to take a day here and again. Yeah. But we also loved what we were doing, so we had a ton of fun. And being on tour, as tiring as that can be, for me, it was more of a break. Because then you're on the tour bus. Yeah. You sleep during the drives, you know, instead of flying everywhere, which is way more difficult to do on the road. So that was kind of our break in between filming.
There is a whole Facebook group dedicated to the sound effects on Big Time Rush.
Amazing, as there should be. Good work, Facebook.
What do you think about the kind of outrageous, over-the-top style of editing and sound effects that they added in Big Time Rush?
I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
You know, it was so derived from the monkeys.
Every turn was like, boing, 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 and you're like, whoa! You know, every action had a sound effect, or even emotion had a sound effect.
Oh, yeah. Like, I thought it was great. It was so fun, because eventually you'd kind of hear what they were going to do.
You knew when you were acting?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, you knew that if you turned to camera
eventually
and give
you know, like, what sound effect you're going to get if you, like, give them the blue steel of, like...
Would you add things in knowing they were going to add sound effects for it?
Sometimes we'd accidentally make our own sound effects.
Like what? What would that look like?
I don't know, like, you know, you like do something stupid and like you just like, you say it out loud, like boing, 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 and like, James, you can't say boing, we're gonna add that in post. And like, right, my bad.
Like boing, boing, boing.
It was so over the top that it was just fun, you know?
What's the most bizarre fan interaction you've ever had?
So we'd stay in hotels, eventually we'd have, you know, aliases, because fans would figure out where we're staying, and like, so we'd have a bunch of funny aliases.
What was your alias?
Oh, I had so many over the years. I don't think any of them I can say on camera. But one of these hotels in New York, I'll never forget, like, you had to have a key card to get on the elevator. It was pretty secure. So these girls had to like steal a key card, get one, or like rent a room. What? Because I remember coming into the elevator, like going to the gym.
How do you steal a key card?
I don't know, but I walk in thinking like I'm on a secure floor.
Yeah.
And there's 4 screaming girls that are just phones out, cameras and all that. And I walk in, there's nobody to do anything. But I also just figured, I'm like, girls, you worked hard to get here. This ride is about, I don't know, 30 seconds down?
Yeah.
As many videos and photos as you want for the next 30 seconds. You have earned it. Let's go. And like, all the way down.
All you can eat buffet for 30 seconds.
Exactly. Hey, they earned it. They earned it. Yeah.
So you rewarded that behavior, though. Does any part of you like feel?
No. If you can
like
get
if you can get through
hotel security and our security, like,
and made a fake
I'm not
key
encouraging.
card?
If you like show up in my room, I mean that's super creepy, by the way. But like, I feel like I owe you something.
You're encouraging such bad behavior. Everyone watching this is going to be like, oh,
they're going to become professional thieves now.
Yeah, they're like
scaling the buildings.
Right. So I'm going to throw out a few names, and I'd love for you to tell me your first thought when you hear some of these.
Oh gosh. All right.
Yes, and we're going to start with some of your Big Time Rush bandmates.
All right.
Carlos PenaVega.
He is just one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. He loved the band so much. I mean, he loved singing and dancing and acting, like maybe even more than everybody. Like he wanted to rehearse after rehearsal. So I'll always give him so much love and so much credit for his work ethic to this day, you know? Just hardworking, creative, sweetheart.
Kendall Schmidt.
I feel like I think of just acoustic. Like right now, he actually just texted me a song the other day. He's doing a whole acoustic album right now. He's always had a band called Heffron Drive, and he's been playing since we were, you know, well before even BTR, and now he's even doing more stuff on his own. So I feel like he's always been more the rocker.
So he brought something unique to the group, a different
perspective. We were all so different, He crushed it on that.
Logan Henderson.
Logan was just a funny dude. Logan is just, I mean, him and I laughed more than anyone else, I think. Just, I don't know much I can say here. Super inappropriate sense of humor that I relate to and I get along with. He's one of the funniest actors that I know. Yeah, I don't think I would have had nearly as much fun, especially on tour, if it weren't for Logan.
Stephen Kramer Glickman.
We were friends from San Diego.
Beforehand?
Yeah, like we'd have high holiday, like Jewish dinners together, like his family and my family and one other family. For years. So when he was one of the people that was recast right before the second pilot, like the final one. And I just remember looking at the audition, like, hey, we got a really new funny guy for Gustavo, and going, that's Glicky. No way, and like freaking out, because it's just such a small world. He's so funny and just got a big heart, and he is Gustavo Rock in real life.
Peta Murgatroyd.
Peta is one of the like most badass girls I've ever met in my life. So she was my dance partner on Dancing with the Stars, for those of you guys who don't know. Season 18, almost won it, check it out.
Huge Dancing with the Stars star.
It was fun. No, I have so much respect for her, because like, she could seriously like break a toe and keep going. She'd be like, no, I'm fine. She's the one teaching and showing, and just so, her work ethic is unmatched. Those dancers in general, I feel like they're just some of the hardest working, least appreciated talent on set, man, because they're putting their bodies through hell sometimes to do this stuff. And she just worked hard, and nothing would stop her. I
have one more name for you, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop.
How could you forget Snoop?
Snoop is literally the coolest dude in the world. He couldn't have been nicer. And one quick story about Snoop that one of the dopest compliments I think anybody could get from Snoop. We were on set for the music video, and he came up at one point to the guys and I, and went, so I've done a lot of music videos. Never once has my daughter wanted to come to any of them. And she begged me this morning to come with Dad to work. So thank you, boys. Like, he came in just like it was the coolest moment ever. Like, we've impressed Snoop.
Well, you made him a cool dad.
Right? We gave Snoop brownie points for his daughter.
Yeah.
That was cool,
I
man.
made Snoop Dogg cool. Like,
I mean,
he's the biggest, like, he's one of the coolest icons out there.
And that's the thing. It's like I've run into him over the years, just like casually at an event or whatever, and he will still, you know, he'll still like have, he's got this huge security guard literally named Tiny. He's got his boy Keys, who's still my friend, like his security's like family, and they will still stop everything they're doing just to come in and give a big hug. Like, he's such a family man, coolest guy in the world. Think about it too, also respect to Snoop, like, he's been around forever.
Yeah.
He hasn't gone away. Like, that takes skill, that takes tenacity, it takes a smart dude. So, I mean, just
legendary.
Snoop, props to you, brother. No, he's legendary.
Do you have any words of advice for people out there watching right now that might want to get into doing acting or being in a boy band?
Well, quite frankly, I think one of the most important thing in this industry is tenacity. The unwillingness to let go of your dreams. There is something to be said about sticking with it, you know, and just not giving up. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, success comes when preparation meets opportunity. And to me, that means just get better and better and better at whatever it is you want to do every single day. So when you finally do get that opportunity, you're the best you can possibly be. You know, you have the best shot, best chance. I still am in class. I still am in acting class. I still work on playing my instruments and go to vocal training because I want to only get better.
I feel like people assume that you reach a level and you stop having to learn.
Tiger Woods still has a coach. Does it mean Tiger Woods' coach is as good as him? No. But Tiger wouldn't be Tiger without his coach. So I guess
you
that's
always learn something from someone else.
Exactly. So if you really want to do this, you want to be an actor, you want to be a singer, whatever it might be, go to class. See if you even enjoy class. You know what I mean? If you don't enjoy that process, then you probably won't ever become good enough to actually make it on set, because most of your job is practicing to get to the job. Once you get the job, then it's fun. Your work is to get the job. So hopefully if you enjoy that, then it's going to be easy because you'll just keep on training and keep getting better and better. All
right, James, one last question. In the pilot episode of Big Time Rush, it was your character's biggest motivation to be famous. Do you think he found what he was looking for?
I think he found something a whole lot better.
Yeah?
I think he found his brothers, and he found the journey to be what was the most exciting thing, and his family and his friends the most important thing. In fact, it's a lesson that I always try and go back to from the show with anybody who asks me, like, hey, how do I become famous? Being famous isn't, you know, a job. I don't know, it's frustrating, man. It's like, I'd rather somebody focus on, like, be the greatest actor you can be, and if that happens, fantastic. Be the greatest musician you can be. If that happens, fantastic. But fame actually can be a bit of a nuisance. Think about being Brad Pitt. You can't walk down the street.
Yeah, for sure. And you've dealt with some of that.
I have, you know, and I still do at times in certain countries. And frankly, the kind of like anonymity I've had just being in LA, New York, and working on these projects the past few years has been amazing. Yeah. Because I've been able to live like a pretty normal life with my friends and my family, and I don't want to give that up. So I would never encourage somebody to be famous.
Right.
Just work on your craft, and if that comes, you'll figure out how to deal with it, because you may not like it as much as you think.
So you disagree with your character's goal of just be famous?
100%.
Yeah.
Very, very much so.
Cool, amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You were
so great chatting with you.
Great, yeah. Thank you. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Throwback.
Later, guys.
So he was in your music video, but also the Big Time Rush Christmas special.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was fun.
What was that like?
I think I can say this without throwing him under the bus. Snoop, you know, shows up when Snoop wants to show up. Like, it's a pretty well-known thing.
Right.
And this is actually a pretty big compliment, too. So the first day, I think he was about 6 hours late. And on set, you know, time is money. You don't show up late. Like, I think it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour. When you like thought about how expensive the show was. It was crazy. Yeah. So 6 hours, people were like, you know, no, that's crazy. But he had so much fun the first day. Day two, he only showed up an hour and a half late. That's a compliment. That's real. That
means
like
he
wanted to be. He's earliest he's ever been. Like, he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So massive compliment to us. It was just fun, man. I mean, man, you don't get bigger and better than that.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more Throwback and let us know who you'd like to see on the show next. We'll see you next time.